Hello everyone. Nick, welcome back to the AO. You said this week that your preparation for the tournament was day by day. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously had a really good return, I think, a successful return to Brisbane. Had a lot of fun. Obviously, carrying the greatest of all time in doubles wasn't on my resume, and now it is. And then, yeah, had a really successful singles match against one of the most confident players on the tour. So went back home for a couple of days and obviously just tried to get a bit more under my legs and then, you know, hit some more tennis balls and obviously felt my abdomen a little bit. But today, you know, this morning, was out there feeling pretty good. And then I'm actually hitting again this afternoon to test it out a little bit and see how it feels. But as of right now, I've still got, you know, 3 days before the tournament starts for me. And yeah, I'm just taking it day by day and just enjoying all the moments again of being part of the tournament, going through all the hallways, the locker room, seeing everyone again. It's been an emotional time for me the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm just enjoying being back.
Okay, we open up to questions. Please raise your hand and introduce yourself.
How difficult has it been for you mentally, such a long road back, and you're so close to making a Grand Slam return, and now you've had to deal with a fresh injury concern? How tough has it been for you?
Yeah, I think I was talking about this yesterday. I feel like when you're injured, people think you don't play as much tennis and you're not doing as much, but you're actually doing a bit more. You know, I feel like I haven't been away from the game. Competitively, I have been, but I don't feel like that. I feel like I've been playing more tennis more than ever. So I think me trying to emulate the match load, you know, in training and the body getting used to it again. I mean, anyone that's had an injury, you know, it's kept them out of the game for a year plus, know that it's so hard to load manage because you're trying to, you know, get ready for that match intensity. So I think that's what I was doing. I was, you know, after Brisbane, it was really encouraging. You know, obviously my body was struggling a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'm going to try and build on that. And then obviously had a little bit more of a setback, but I think it's just part of the game. You know, niggles, I don't think anyone really feels 100%. But look, as long as it's not something like my wrist again, I think I can manage it.
James.
Life paper. Nick, one of the parts of the job is the anti-doping stuff and getting tested and making sure you're putting the right things into your body. Can you just talk about what it's like having to think about that on a day-to-day basis? And do you ever get worried that, you know, when you see other people on tour accidentally get pinged, how much anxiety does that create for players?
Look, I don't want to speak too much about it. I think we've all been speaking about it. I feel like that's the only thing tennis has been speaking about the last 6 months. You know, but for me, to answer your question, like, I mean, I've been tested, you know, 4 times in the last, you know, couple months. You know, I got tested in my home 3 days ago. So for me, it hasn't been a problem at all in my career. You know, I've been on the tour now for 10 plus years. So, I mean, for me, it's not, I'm not worried at all because I know that I'm really on top of what's going on in my team, and I'm very confident in myself that I'm not going to be accidentally putting something in my system.
Summerfield from 3AW. Two-part question. First, how's the body feeling after that brief session this morning? And secondly, there are a few photographers and media who were asked not to attend that session. Was there any reasoning behind that?
I mean, the media loves me for some reason. I'm not too sure why. So I'm not surprised that I saw cameras and things out there. But it wasn't actually supposed to be a closed session at all. I think it was a misunderstanding. I mean, I didn't mind seeing the cameras and people out there. It was good. It created a bit more of an atmosphere and a vibe. And, you know, any time I get to play, you know, whether it's a match or practice in front of these fans, there were so many kids out there. I mean, I think that's special for me that you know, I have noticed that I'm a bit of a role model for these kids. So it was good. No, I didn't mind it at all. But yeah, my body's feeling okay after today's session, and I'm going again with Pericard at 4:30.
Matt.
What do you think you bring to an event like this? What does the event have when you're playing in it that it might not when you're not playing in it? And does that sort of weigh on you in any way?
Well, that's a good question. I think, I mean, we watch sport because we want personalities. You know, I think, you know, we love, you know, we watch, you know, tennis as well. It's that one-on-one aspect of, you know, now there's coaching allowed, but I really enjoyed tennis because it was 1v1. You had to watch that person figure it out over a 4 or 5 hour period, and you saw the amount of emotions that one person goes under, and it's like drama, it's like theatre. So for me personally, me being back, I think it adds a bit of question marks to like what's going to happen today, where that's like, I love that. Like, I don't know whether, you know, every time I step out on court, I don't know if I'm going to be super controversial in a good or bad way, which, I mean, throughout my career, it hasn't always been good, but it's added a lot of excitement to the game, I think. I think it's important because there's so many good players on the tour now, but I think there's not so many contrasting personalities. So I think it's healthy that, you know, I'm back and I'm playing. It doesn't really weigh on me though. I've always been someone that's played my brand of tennis, and I guess my personality, I haven't changed since I was 10 years old. Anyone that knows me knows that I've been, you know, just how I am now. So I think it's good to be back, and I think it's important because I think the sport was getting a bit mundane.
Simon.
When you were out, I know you were around the tour, commentating a bit, seeing you were watching what's going on. When you're out for quite a long period of time, is there a fear that the tour has moved on? Did you ever feel like that was a concern when you came back?
No, most definitely don't feel like. I mean, it's definitely the changing of the guard. That's for sure. I mean, you look at. I mean, when I was, you know, say like Sinner or Alcaraz at that age, you know, when I was playing, you know, some of my best tennis, I had to get through 4 of the greatest of all time in their prime trying to chase legacy stats. So, I mean, it was very hard for me to kind of, you know, I'm not saying I always ran into them. That was the reason I didn't win a slam, but it was realistically, what are the chances of you winning a slam if you've got to beat all 3 of those guys in their prime, or virtually impossible. So I definitely feel like it's a changing of the guard, and there's such an amazing young crop of players coming in now, and they're incredible talents. And you look at like someone like Fonseca as well, who's 17 or 18 years old playing ridiculous tennis, and he's like the next generation, but he's going to be knocking on the door pretty soon as well. But I definitely don't feel like the media thinks I've moved on. It seems to be the only thing they can talk about. I would love to just fly under the radar if possible, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening.
Is there ever a fear that tennis has moved up a level and that you won't be able to cope with it?
So you mean like my level, like my actual tennis level?
Your confidence in your ability and stuff.
I mean, I've beaten pretty much everyone that the sport's put in front of me before, so I'm always going to back my ability. And you know, people are always going to say, be realistic, or you're not going to be the same. Like, I unfortunately don't have that mindset. I always have utmost confidence in my ability to, if I'm playing my style of tennis and my unpredictability, like I've got a chance against anyone. And I think that's the mindset you need to have against the people. Like if I walked out on the court against Nadal, Djokovic, Federer for the first time and was realistic, I probably wouldn't have won. But, you know, like a kid from Canberra going out there and beating those, like you can't be realistic. You have to be like, you have to think, I think I'm the best tennis player in the world. Like, is that realistic? Probably not, but I think that when I'm out there. And I think if I play any of these top guys now, I have to have that mindset. Otherwise, I'm going to get blown off the court. That's where I have my confidence comes from, my belief in my own ability.
Charlie.
Some players, when they come back from breaks, they talk about feeling refreshed, recharged. I just wondered, like, how different it feels for you having not played.
I guess I don't feel like fresh or recharged, but I feel like I haven't been around this kind of Grand Slam. There's I forgot the amount of emotions that you feel. You know, the nervousness when the draw comes out, or, you know, seeing all these guys in the locker room. Our sport is truly strange. It's the strangest dynamic. Like, you're literally showering, eating, spending time with your competitors that you're going to go out and literally go to war against. It's such a strange dynamic compared to any other sport. But yeah, I feel at home, I guess. You know, the Australian Open's been an amazing event for me and for many others, but I feel back at home being at a Grand Slam and you know, the preparation and the team environment and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Sophie from 10 News. You're pretty good mates with Djokovic. Obviously, he's come out and said he thinks he was allegedly poisoned here 3 years ago during a hotel quarantine. Any reaction to that? Have you spoken to him at all?
He was what?
Allegedly poisoned during hotel quarantine. Have you heard about that? Have you spoken to him about it at all?
No, I haven't spoken to him about that. I didn't even know that, but yeah. I mean, I'll stand on we treated him like shit. That's for sure. We shouldn't have done that.
Look.
Britannique from Kyrgios, Serbia. Have you made a final commitment to the greatest of all time that you will show up in Belgrade and do an exit with him?
If he pays me, I mean, I think he can pay me a pretty good amount. I'll happily come. I don't even want to play tennis. I want to party in Belgrade. I want to party with Djokovic in Serbia. Now that will go down as the greatest of all time.
We'll do the last two, Eleanor and then Courtney.
It's a big moment for your opponent making his Australian Open debut. I just wondered, well, how much do you know about Jake Fearnley?
Yeah, you know, I definitely. He's been knocking on the door with some pretty good results the last 6 to 9 months, and you know he's obviously very confident. And you know he was actually in my hometown the other week playing the Challenger there, and I saw him there. And he's extremely confident, and then you got to be careful with these guys because you know I know the players like me, we do have a target on our back, and these guys go out there trying to play their best tennis, and I've experienced that. You know, when guys go out there confident, you know, on their debut, or they tend to play a bit higher and a bit better than their actual, you know, base level. So, you know, I'm not underestimating anyone in this event. You know, me personally, I haven't played many tennis matches, so I'm still trying to find my feet as well. But at the same time, I'll do my research and I'll be well aware of what he does well. And he's obviously, you know, been in pretty good form too. He obviously, pretty sure he, you know, made things pretty challenging for Novak at Wimbledon. So anyone who can do that on such a big stage has that kind of X factor there. So I know that he's going to be willing to embrace that challenge against me in Australia, and yeah, it's going to be good. But as I said, you know, there's a lot of time between now and then, so I'm going to just take it one step at a time.
Last one, Courtney.
Can I ask you, just from a pundit's perspective, looking at Alex and Alexei and Jordan and what they've done in the last sort of 12 months, 18 months, what have you seen them, and where do you see, I suppose, men's tennis in the country?
I mean, men's tennis in Australia right now is ridiculously strong, and we have a lot of players, and it's very deep. I think Tomo. I mean, I'll start with Demona. I think, you know, I remember he was our orange boy at Davis Cup, and we'd won the tie, and he needed to have some extra practice, and I was like, oh, I'll go out there and teach this little kid a lesson. And then like I brought a beer out there, I remember, and I was like, this guy can't be that good. And then like it was like a really close set, and I was like in my prime, and he was only like 17. I was like, this guy's going to be like, you know, really solid. So to see how well he's kind of taken upon himself to be our #1 player for the last, you know, 4 years, and he's grown into be such a, you know, to deal with everything, like the pressure of being our #1 player. You know, I was there, and I didn't always deal with it the best, but he's been a ridiculously good role model, and I genuinely think he's a threat at any Grand Slam and any tournament he plays. I mean, he's made quarterfinals of, I think, every slam but the AO. I don't know if he did. I don't know. I think he did, but he's got a chance to win a slam for sure. I think he does everything right. He's improved little things in his game where I thought that he needed to improve. He's done that, and obviously Pop is dangerous whenever he's feeling good with that serve, winning the Masters event. I'm super happy for these guys because they put in all the hard work. I mean, obviously I know Tomo. I've known Tomo since basically he was in diapers. So you know, just to see how well he's transitioned and finally kind of got into that seeding at a Grand Slam where it can really open up for him. He's more than capable of doing some damage as well. So all these Aussie guys are really they're really good. They're really, really good. And, you know, we've got a good crop of young guys coming through as well. So it's a good time to be an Australian tennis fan.
Thank you.
No worries.